We recently undertook a walk from Earth to the Pleiades for special effects 10k your way. Practicality, and particularly in my case gravity, confined us to the planet's surface, so our walk was scaled down to a walk from Jodrell Bank in Cheshire to Seven Sisters Lane in Cheshire. Earth is Jodrell Bank, the Pleiades is Seven Sisters Lane. This is our analogy. There were some unexpected challenges along the way, but first I better introduce you to this chap. This is Professor Sir Dr. Captain Robert Hooke, who is another huge fan of the Pleiades. Wikipedia will tell you that Hooke invented most things, a seemingly unrealistic number of things really. But we should bear in mind that this was in what history called the Age of Innovation, which was ushered in with the invention of coffee and ended with the invention of memes. Obviously, Wikipedia also told us that there are 3,000 stars in the Seven Sisters, so we'll need to keep an eye on the hyperbolometer, which he also invented. He was a keen physicist, arch enemy of Peter Pan, and a polymath, which means he could do two sums at once. This was impressive for the 17th century, but nowadays even school kids can do simultaneous equations. He invented cork. He was the first to see the inside of a cell, which to my mind is not something to be proud of. He invented the microphone, but had nowhere to plug it in. At night, as a keen singer-songwriter, he moonlighted under his rather transparent alias, Dr. Hooke. He probably felt it to be fair warning when he told his wife that, when he was in love with a beautiful woman with sexy eyes, when she thought he'd loved her all he could, he was going to love her a little bit more. This was the 17th century, and there wasn't that much to do of an evening, so sadly, for Mrs. Professor Sir Dr. Captain Hooke, the invention of the television would come hundreds of years too late. He wore his heart and his hook on his sleeve. That's where that saying comes from. He also had the audacity to name some physics after himself. In the 17th century, most physics was up for grabs. It was in this gold rush that he staked his claim. Between singing smoochy songs and fighting with lost boys, he stated, "Stretchy stuff can break, you know." Oddly satisfied with this, he proclaimed it to be a law called Hooke's Law, promptly died and was consumed by a crocodile. One such stretchy thing is an analogy, and this is the reason for this rather protracted but edifying preface. Things during that walk were difficult to liken to a journey through the stars. We're mindful of Hooke's Law, so we'll delicately extend the analogy here today. Stretch 1. The Uber driver did not have the sole permit unlocked. He ditched us at the entrance to Jodrell Bank, sure, but it was the entrance that the science people go in, not normal people. There was a sign at this entrance, as shown in this photographic equivalent of a mumble, to say that the entrance for normal people was 2,000 metres away, not 1,999, not 2001, 2,000 on the nose, like they were proud to have pasted out with one of those clicky wheels. We didn't have a clicky wheel, but we were forced to pace it out, and we weren't even on the map yet. As year-round ticket holders, always welcome at Jodrell Bank, we had the Sol permit, but found we would still have to go around Sol to get into Sol. Stretch 2. The Sol permit doesn't work after 3:30. Jodrell Bank Public Engagement Centre stops engaging with the public at 3:30 p.m. It does this by shutting. A chain was slung across the pedestrian entrance. Now, remember, we're year-round ticket holders, always welcome at Jodrell Bank. A certain anonymous member of the party argued that we were still allowed into Sol and near to Earth, just not on Earth. It was the inner gates to the visitors' centre, not the car park, that were closed. And chains are symbolic, right? More of a guideline than a rule. Fleetwood Mac told us that we mustn't break the chain, but they didn't say we couldn't step over it. They're kind of like those velvet ropes you get in posh places that suggest you shouldn't pass unless you know what you're doing. Chains like that, it's just a lot less comfy. The argument continued, whinily, that our use case was different, that they knew we were coming, we only needed to get to the car park and wouldn't be a typical visitor who wouldn't be disappointed by it. The anonymous member realised at this point that the rest of the party had stopped listening. Sometimes action is the best course of action. But on attempting to step past the misguided chain, the anonymous member tripped and left a massive welt on my leg, on my anonymous leg. This photo was taken then near Sol, but not at Sol. Pain was mounting, and on inspection of the leg, the whole party felt that the next photo should be of the welt, and the next one of the side of the welt, as all bar one were delighted by its prominence. Stretch 3. We were hyperdicted by Thargoids. Okay then, so mindful that Hook is stretching in his grave, we'd seen on the way to Jodrell Bank that the public footpath and stile close to the start of our journey was very overgrown and featured giant hogweed. For those who don't know, giant hogweed will mess you up. The chemical burns from contact from this stuff are genuinely awful and very, very long lasting, like years. A younger member of our party had already stolen my walking pole, and brandishing it like a lightsaber was quite optimistic about a hack and slash approach. Older members felt we weren't equipped for a battle with the Thargoids and the inevitable caustic damage, so we all decided finally to go another way. Stretch 4. The route planner didn't catch all the stars. For posterity and proof, a tracking app was used. Anyone who's used these apps before will have been irritated by gaps in the tracking. There are many such examples here. So, are you sure you followed the road? Looks to me like you took a shortcut. No, Martin, we didn't walk through dense hedgerows, through solid walls and cheat the 10k system. Stretch 5. Is that a loop of shame? Did you miss it? Did you go back and try again? No, we didn't miss it. The alternative route we took ironed out some of the intentional kinks, so it was necessary to go a little further and make it a full 10k hike. It looks a lot like we went to a pub, but like good boys, we turned around and went back to our finish line at Seven Sisters Lane. So, to cut a long story medium, perhaps extra medium, we made it to the Pleiades, with some hull and module damage, but we made it. We recorded the audio of the entire journey, so if you're unhinged, we'll post it in this raw, gritty form as the next video. You could listen to it whilst you're out in your new Panther Clipper, doing that cargo rack CG. You could even just listen to it if you've nothing to cry about. Our victim, I'm pleased to report, is none the worse for the ordeal. When steeped in the history of the game, its lore, when life was breathed into the Elite Dangerous universe again for him, and mixed with his own reminiscences, did it stir a yearning to become Commander Red Dotman again? Absolutely not, no. As the end of July looms, we want to do a couple more things. This week, we'll be flying that route in-game from Sol to Maya. We'll post the waypoints below if you want to join in. Who knows what we'll discover along the way, on this wonky route. And lastly, a sincere thanks to all of those who sponsored the event. We'll be posting a space shanty, ending the event by affronting your ears too. And how's the leg now? Well, thanks for asking, it's still bruised. But wait, that bruise sure looks familiar.